What's up guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. We are doing a follow-up video on the 1993 black on black LX hatch that I recently picked up out of Vegas, sight unseen. And when the car showed up, well, the car ended up being, well, exceeding my expectations, I guess is the best way to put it. And as a result, I think a lot of you guys saw the potential and the beautifulness of this car in the video, because I was bombarded with comments and direct messages. Some people even hit up my website and the contact form, people wondering how much. Well, you can't just ask me how much. I'll probably ignore you, especially when there's like dozens and dozens and dozens of inquiries about something. But there was a gentleman that reached out to me. He called, left me a voicemail, gave me context around why he was interested in the car and what it would take in order to possibly purchase it. Now guys, take this as a lesson. If you see something that pops up on the internet that you are interested in, don't ask simple like little one-liner questions, because it's not going to get you anywhere. There's going to be somebody else that's going to have more context, more meat and potatoes behind their inquiry, or their willingness, their grit, their hustle, whatever you want to call it, that ultimately might make you miss out on a deal. Now, the one thing about this car is I really didn't want to sell it as is, because, well, at the end of the day, there's two main reasons. The first reason is that the car's been sitting for a long time and there's a number of things that need to be gone over. So I, by no means, even though the car looks great, it doesn't mean that it's ready for the road. Like those brake pads in the front are pretty much non-existent. We can see there's a drip underneath the front here. I don't know if that's from the power steering pump or what it's from. We're gonna have to investigate that. And the door panels were still off. All of those little things that, well, I like to get a car right before I list it for sale. So now the second thing that's probably the most important part of why I didn't just want to flip the car as is the fact that the previous owner reached out to me knowing that I'd be able to get the car back, go over the car, get it ready, and find the car a really good home. So when this individual reached out to me and left me his voicemail, he told me about his previous Foxbody that he had, why he sold it, why he was interested in a black on black LX hatch, and just kind of went into details. And I told him the same thing, that listen man, I'm not going to sell the car as is. I need to at the very least go through, get the brakes sorted, maybe swap out some bushings, get the interior back together, all of those things. And so we came up with a little plan and we made a deal for the car. So this is the way that it's going to go down, guys. I got a little bit of footage of going through and restoring, getting the door panels back together, fixing the map pockets, and they turned out great. These look like, you know, a really nice set of OE black door panels, so there's definitely no complaints there. Tested out the electronics on the inside, so I just changed the door lock actuator on the driver's side door here. And so that's, once the door panels are back on, I'm just waiting for new Christmas tree clips. I'll be able to jam those on, and then the interior of the car is done, other than vacuuming and a detail. So on the exterior, the drift doors are not going to stay on the car. I've actually got a set of 17-inch chrome ponies. Yeah, chrome ponies, you know. You guys know how much I love 17-inch chrome ponies on a Fox. Well, at least it's not a black notch with 17-inch ponies on it. But I actually had them off that blue and silver GT. He had a SN95 rear end in the car, so his rear wheels poked out past the rear quarter fenders and it looked just silly. That, and if he went over a big bump, the tires would rub the rear quarter panels. So I sold him on a set of ROH snipers that I had in my inventory that were the right offsets for an SN95 rear diff. So as a result, I made a deal. I kept his 17-inch chrome ponies and they are going to go on this car right here. So what does that mean? That means we're going to be doing a poor man's 5-lug swap. And if we walk over to my truck over here, I got everything in the back today from my shop that we need to get the job done here. Well, I got one of these Husky storage bin containers, so we can get more organized. You can see here, control arms for the rear. I got some 5-lug rotors for the front. These control arms came out of the red convertible that were at the shop. You see how clean these flex lines and these calipers are? The pads are like brand new on there, guys. So I'm just going to swap the whole damn control arm because the ball joint's good. Everything's all in one piece, and it'll make things pretty easy, I think, to get all of this to tighten up the front end, get some new brakes on there, and get our poor man's 5-lug for the front. And then I've got a set of axles, brand new, sitting there, 5-lug. So I just got to get some wheel studs, knock those in. So I'll open up the diff, swap out the axles. We'll keep it drum in the back. Actually, I forgot to grab the drums. I got some 5-bolt drums at the shop too, so we'll be swapping those over. But let's get the car in the shop because there's AC flowing in there. It's going to be cooler, and we'll start swapping out probably the front control arms. And what I'm going to do, you can see the back actually looks like it's sitting down a hair lower than the front. I'm going to pull those isolators out of the front of the car, and hopefully that should level out the ride height and make things look the way that it should. So there we go, guys. The name of the game is getting a few little things ready on this car so it can go to its new owner. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the individual. We had a great conversation. So the car will be going to Tampa, Florida. And he actually told me I could keep the yellow Ford racing wires. So I got to go digging through my inventory, find a different set of wires to throw in the car, because he knows that I love those Ford racing wires. So anyways, let's get to it. All right, man, I need to turn the AC down up in here. I'll turn it up so the temperature goes down, however that works. But there we go, front end all done. New rotors, new lower control arms with newer bushings. Well, new good used stuff. So you can see here the factory bushings on these guys. They weren't horrible, but like they're dry rotted, they're cracking. So they were on their way out. Ball joints, God knows how old they were. So it just made sense to swap over a good set of control arms with ball joints and use those spindles with those bearings and swap the, it's actually a nice set of cross-drilled and slotted 4-lug rotors, but we put the poor man 5-lug rotors on and the front end is done. So we'll get the car on the lift next time around and we'll pull the rear end out, swap the axles, put on 5-bolt drums, and we'll be able to put the rear wheels on, and we'll change the oil. We got to bleed the brake system out, get all that old fluid and everything else, but the car is still technically a roller, so it's not stuck in the way. And like I said, we'll get it on the lift soon and get the rest of the car done. The ROH Drift R's are off the car. You can see we got our ponies here. I did remove the quad shock assemblies as well, because I just did a set of 10-inch rear LMR ponies, and even with them flipped and the casings taken off, right? Usually if you flip these guys around and you take off this plastic, you can get away with running those, but in this case, it is a no bueno situation. You can see how clean this Cali/Nevada car is underneath, no rust. And you can see here, see that play in the bushing area? These bushings have shrunk over time. So definitely gonna be swapping out these lower control arms. Floor pans, super clean. You can see where I hammered out that pinch weld a little bit. We're a little oily underneath here. Looks like an energy suspension transmission mount. Rear main seal probably leaking from sitting. Got all the factory emissions on the underside here because, well, California car. Here's our brand new shiny looking control arms that were donated. And even the lower radiator support, nothing's bent there. Those look a little oily here, but we'll see. Sometimes cars just don't like sitting. I'll check the pan bolts. We'll do an oil change, get rid of that tiny little filter that they have on there, and can definitely see that this power steering high pressure line is leaking there. So I'll see if I can get a turn on it or what exactly is going on. But the pump actually doesn't make noise. I already started taking out some of the bolts so we can drain out the diff fluid, pop the pin out, pop out the axles. So I'll get that done. And we'll move on to swapping in our new axles, which I need to smash in the lugs for. They're sitting up right over there by the jack stands. All right guys, so just as suspected, there is not much brake left whatsoever on these rear shoes. So similar to yesterday, I got some nice thick hand-me-downs here. So now I need to remember how to replace brake shoes. So let's give it a whirl. All right, there we go. I do remember how things go. So I'll go ahead and knock out the other side, then we'll pull the pin, slide the axles, and wrap up this poor man's 5-volt conversion. All right, that took a little longer than I planned, but sometimes that's just how things go. The brakes actually went super quick in terms of doing the shoes. Control arms, driver's side was good, passenger side, you know, I was trying to cheat and get the spring up with the control arm, not trying to drop the shocks and taking shortcuts. It worked on the driver's side, did not work on the passenger side. And getting the bolt out for the one control arm, had to drop some of the exhaust down, but I got it all sorted. Rear end is all done. I didn't have enough diff fluid, so I'll bring some from the commercial shop tomorrow, finish topping that up. So I'll just leave the bottle dangling for now. And so once that's topped up, I need to bleed all the brakes. So I'm gonna leave the car on the lift. Tomorrow I'll check out the power steering line, see what's going on there. Probably facilitate an oil change on this guy. Couple quick nights, 5-volt conversion done. Ready for some 17-inch ponies. Should get a little bit more stability and handling out of the car, better brakes, and that's pretty much it. Some servicing and down the road. Well, I gotta get the door panels on, and I'm going to swap out the shifter, get the Hurst shifter out of there for a triax, and then swap the plug wires over. I'm gonna take those yellow Ford Racing. I got a set of blue Ford Racing. I threw them in the car, found them in my piles of stuff in the back there, and that's about it. So stick around, we're not done yet. Oh, look at that nice leather shift knob, short triax shifter. Looks way better than the donkey dick Hurst shifter. So the interior, aside from just getting the door panels stuck on, is done. Underneath the hood is done. Plug wires are swapped. Factory air box is installed. AC is going. Oil's been changed. And now just need Lewis to show up tomorrow. He'll help me bleed out the brakes. And once the brakes are all bled, we can get all the wheels on, back on the ground. And that should be it for the 93 Vegas car. Already got my trucking broker looking at getting this thing picked up at the end of the week. So pretty much 7 days it'll have been in my possession. Pretty crazy. Anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. I'm gonna get the last few things buttoned up here, do final little detail, final reveal, and send off. So stick around. Needs a new actuator. So I've got one at the shop, no big deal. Just make sure it's plugged in. It is. No, it is not. Okay, all the way down there. Always make sure you get all the scrap out of the door when you drill shit off. Alright guys, so I'm just killing some time before dinner, and figured I'd try and get these door panels right for the black hatch. Just finished filming the reveal of the Atomic Fox. Super cool build that I'm sure you guys would know. It's the black notch with the Tiffany blue engine bay, so be sure to check that video out if you haven't already. So these armrest pads are sometimes a little tricky, especially when it comes to getting the screws in the right spot. Well, there's something about like the injection molding. Sometimes things don't line up 100%. So what I suggest is don't screw the first one in super tight. So that way you can kind of get yourself the ability. You almost gotta, like, if the screw looks like it's gonna go in like that, you almost gotta like tilt the screw up in the hole to get it to seat properly. So can be a little annoying, or you can sometimes tweak the armrest pad itself. Yeah, this one's not grabbing for shit. I'm telling you guys, I love the fact that Daniel Carpenter makes all these reproduction items, but I gotta be honest with you, for someone who claims to have the original Ford tooling for a lot of these parts, they really and truly fit like dog shit. Especially up here, like these holes. There's no way. There's no way unless I drill these holes open. So this is what I'm fighting. All right, you see these two nubs that stick out. They want to go in the holes, but as soon as those go in the holes, these screws do not want to line up. So you almost got to, like, they want to go naturally at an angle like this, but these molds, you got to get the screw tilted upward which actually even makes it challenging to get the screwdriver on there. We got that one. Oh, just one more to go. Let's see. Try and get it on the impossible angle. Might have got it. All right. Well, there we are, guys. These door panels turned out minty fresh. So a little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of time, and we've got beautiful black power door panels. All right, next evening, and we're getting to the front fluids of the car. So it's doing us an oil change here. Oil actually doesn't look that bad in color, just it's old. Boom! There we go. Got me the yellow Ford Racing plug wires. Always wanted. Just got to clean them up. Maybe change my gloves. So, just got to get the stock airbox back on now. And the underside of the hood will be pretty much done. Other than charging up the AC here. All right, nice and cool. No complaints there. There you go, nice cold AC for Tampa. So chances are it's very common that the compressors will actually leak, like at the compressor at the shaft, believe it or not. So over time, all you can really do is recharge the system. Now, that's not to say there isn't a leak somewhere else or a bad O-ring, but fingers crossed, it's just a result of sitting for over a decade, right? Things get a little hard, and so hopefully the seal will soften up and the AC continues working. So let's see. Well, there you have it, guys. This is the official send-off / reveal of the 93 black on black LX hatch that I recently picked up out of Vegas. See, the car shines beautifully. This paint honestly is probably worth a good chunk of what the car is worth at the end of the day. The 17-inch chrome ponies, they don't look bad. Chrome looks good on black, it looks good on red. I'm okay with it. Most importantly, the buyer is okay with it, because at the end of the day, well, it's his car. So managed to do quite a bit, right? Swapped out bushings, swapped out brakes, swapped out fluids, got a new power steering pump on it. Well, a good used hand-me-down from a car with 38K miles, so that way it's not leaking everywhere. We got the AC fix, got the oil change. So we got quite a bit of stuff done to this car. I actually pulled out the front isolators from the springs. If you guys noticed, when I put the drift Rs on, the car had like a little bit of a, I don't know, a sag in the rear, if you will. So now everything is leveled out. No rubs, everything's working the way that it should, and hopefully the buyer will be super happy with the car. So to the seller that gave me the opportunity to buy this car and get it back, thank you so much. And to the buyer who's going to continue to let this car live on and show it off to people around the Florida area, thank you as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little mini transformation, getting this car back on the road after it's been sitting for pretty much 15 years. So until next time, we'll see you guys back here on the Infamous Project.